Welcome, I'll be reacting to Outlander Season 6, Episode 5. I also just got my first merch. I kept seeing Claire wearing these and I just had to have some. They're from Blue Ridge Pearl on Etsy. Of course I got them just in time for the summer, but oh well, it's still cold here in the morning. Without further ado, this is not a market substitute. Please support the original. Ooh, another flashback.
We must hurry, sire.
Oh, of course.
One tolerate these cursed bonnets, or breathe in this wretched gout.
This actually did happen. I love that they're putting it in. Mock Me is having a very different reaction to Captain Mal when he had to wear a bonnet.
How can you shame me in front of new people?
If I could make you prettier, I would.
You are not the man I met a year ago.
Careful. Wait. Redcoats.
Ooh.
I'm making haste to reach Armadale over the sea to Skye.
Over the sea to Skye.
The ill and my stepfather begged me.
Take good care, mistress. There are traitors about.
Oh,
No.
you lost the throne. It won't do to lose your life as well.
Mark me, dear Flora. Your kindness will not go unremembered.
I'm so glad we got to see that little slice of history. This is supposedly from the dress that he wore. It was a floral print. I didn't look too closely if they tried to recreate it or not. It included a calico gown, a quilted petticoat, and an Irish-looking hood. Shoes, stockings, garters, and a headdress were also provided. And in case you were wondering what they had to eat after getting away, it was eggs and bread with beer and brandy. The dress later became extremely popular for the Jacobite ladies to wear. So they all wanted to copy the outfit, which makes sense. I like this opening better already. Oh yeah, much better. Oh, that flag.
Is it a letter of resignation or revolt?
John, you need to get out of the colonies.
Perhaps you can ascertain where his loyalties lie. See if I have anything to fear.
James Fraser has sworn an oath to the crown, and is a man of his word, I assure you.
Oh, this is not good. John is going to be crushed when he finds out. And they've been friends for so long, too. And he does not know about Claire.
Laura MacDonald's likeness ended up on biscuit tins. But the image of her and the Bonnie Prince sitting in a boat became emblematic of a certain spirit of Scottish rebelliousness.
Much to lose, very little to gain.
If only they knew what was coming.
They were in a fight for a dream. What now? They tried that
They already
before.
did that.
They stood behind the Bonnie Prince, only to find themselves in prison, flogged.
They're bringing up some interesting points here. Normally, Jamie is very honorable. He would never break an oath. To Claire, it's obvious. We have the benefit of hindsight. We know it's going to happen. But it's taking a lot of courage and conviction for him to kind of bypass part of his own personality in this situation. It's a lot more challenging for him than I'd really thought about before. Early pool.
There were personal reasons for my change of heart to Dalamance. But that they changed is undeniable.
I know they did a close-up here of the Freemason's ring, but I just wanted to mention, I think this is where the show probably did a good job of a slight tweak to the story, of bringing Marta, a known character, into play to make Jamie's speech here more convincing, because he said he had personal reasons for changing his mind. And anyone who looked into it would figure out that's because Marta was killed in that battle. And yes, the real reason is Claire, but I'd say that's a good, presentable, non-time travel reason. Oh! Ha 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 ha! Oh my.
Oh, we have plenty. We're happy
to share.
I'm hoping the story does not go this way, but the continual scenes with them are starting to give me suspicions. She and Roger are spending a great deal of time together without Brianna. I'm trying not to read too much into it, but that's a direction that the writing could go, that they are setting out as a path.
And traveled many a mile, I've missed the folk I've
Does he have an album? I feel like he should record an album. He's so good.
What's that?
Ooh. Don't touch it, it looks religious.
Bones.
Some charms use grave dust or ashes of a body. Dried seaweed.
Finger bones. Graveyard dust. Dried seaweed. Seaweed is usually protection though. Graveyard dust you use all sorts of times. That doesn't really indicate much.
And flat rocks. I believe it's a love charm. The one they call Venom of the North Wind.
Alright, the North Wind. That's winter magic. The North in the Celtic tradition, at least the one I'm familiar with, is air. I think in contemporary times, the non-Avalonians are North equals Earth. It's more a time of ruminating, meditation, letting things grow under the ground. It's a very unusual choice for a love spell. But the graveyard dirt, that is a love tie-in. Depending on where you sourced it from, you'd need to find the grave of lovers, if you could, and then obviously ask permission to be able to take some of it with you. Seaweed can have the association of good fortune, prosperity. So I think what they're trying to do is prosperity in love, and they're willing to let it grow slowly. So we're looking for someone who's patient and is willing to use the North. So I think it's the woman whose cabin Roger is building, because we had a reference to the Northern Lights. We have a reference to a northern spell. Gonna throw that theory out there.
True. She's a widow. Lonely with those 2 young children, no doubt. Lizzie,
Are you all right? For malaria. We need to take her home.
Too many mosquitoes around.
Oh, John.
Oh, Claire. What a gown.
Well, last time I sent a man to a river run, he bought him a print shop in Newburn and Alistair's son.
Wait, Fergus has a print shop now? That's good. Give him an occupation, somewhere far away from the still.
They will be safer from those who think ill of we Henri Christian. Do you know what?
Oh, that's a good point.
He stole my necklace. What a fright you must have had.
Fortunately, 2 men from the inn apprehended him in the street.
You retrieved the necklace with one emerald missing.
Yes. They failed to find it on the thief.
What's really going on with this emerald? Is there another trapped time traveler looking for gemstones? Because if there's one missing, just saying.
Marcy said it was a love charm. We've been spending a lot of time over there at Amy's.
Just working on the roof.
And serenading her, aren't we?
Well, you think that she made that love charm for my sake?
We are thinking that, Roger, yes.
Roger, Amy needs to find a husband of her own. And she won't if you're already the man of the house.
That is an excellent point that Bree has.
It's hemp flower.
I think we are a veritable gentleman's club.
We sure are.
To whom shall we drink?
People thought we were in love. And that we lay together.
In the boat.
No. That is an adorable gazebo. If I ever had my own place with a yard big enough, I really want a gazebo with climbing roses, the works. She's really getting addicted. This is not good.
And if we are to live in peace in this new land, so we must continue to be.
It was a good speech.
Well, the Committee of Correspondence has made it no secret they are eager to consider me an ally.
Presumption I'm certain you would take pains to correct. You must disassociate yourself from them at once.
The problem here is that John knows him really well. He knows that Jamie's not being honest here. They could not have sent a better person to figure out where his loyalties are, unfortunately. Even though he's at a loyalist event, John can tell Jamie's not being sincere.
James, what's this all about? Your aunt had me print those to commemorate the day.
Oh. Well, that got out of hand fast.
Send not to know for whom the bell tolls.
Tolls for thee.
I wouldn't worry about that just yet, Mr. Christie. We have to get it up there first.
Oh my. In the church?
Have you gone mad? Your father and brother are outside.
A word to my father, Mr. Mackenzie, and I'll tell everyone I've seen you kissing Amy McCallum.
I've done no such thing.
But everybody knows you spend more time with the widow than you do your own wife.
This is going to end badly.
And I understand your grief. But if anything should happen to my son...
Oh, yeah. Keep Fergus out of this.
Tired.
He has an airplane now? Aren't they going to wonder what that is?
We'll just say it's a very odd-looking bird.
Okay, it's a bird.
I asked him to look in on Amy and finish anything she needs doing in the cabin.
You know I was never worried about you.
I know.
I was a little bit worried.
All the four of us.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, she did it. I'm guessing it's because of her mother and feeling trapped, and that's the only way to get out of the situation that she's in. I'm worried though if she gets caught that Claire is going to get blamed. Also, putting a spell like that out there where anyone can find it, she should have at least covered it up with leaves. Something.
You mean a tent? Is one of them?
No.
I am a fool. John, no.
When I heard John was leaving, I was so happy because I thought we would avoid this scene where, heartbreakingly, John finds out. I understand why he's taking it personally. He's like, but I represent everything that you're now going to fight against. I'm your friend. It's kind of personal to me.
You surprise me at every turn. But then you always have.
This is goodbye. From here on out, they're technically enemies. Oh. I mean, that's basically the last time they'll meet as friends on the same side.
What is it?
There is a traveler here. You know, it makes sense because as we get closer to the American Revolution, we'll probably get more and more time travelers kind of descending on that time period, wanting to be part of it.
Nothing. Must just have been the wind.
Who? Yes. Ah, we didn't get to see who it was. There is a brilliant Balanchine production I have to show you that uses this music. I wish I could find a better version for you. The problem is it's very rarely performed these days for inexplicable reasons. Bet you weren't expecting this with Outlander. You might have noticed that the footage was cropped a little bit more than usual. That's just because I've been having to play around with my screen capture settings a lot lately. You also might have noticed that my voice is a little bit off. I've been under the weather. This was certainly a jam-packed episode. I figured we'd start just kind of taking off, and we sure did. Oh, that scene with John and Jamie was absolutely heart-wrenching. To see that friendship basically torn apart, I don't think it's permanent, but the look of betrayal in John's eyes and knowing that they're now on different sides of a coming war is just so tragic. They've been through a lot together. And though, of course, we know Jocasta is on the wrong side, and hopefully what Jamie said made some impression on her, but I don't think so. She's very stubborn, tends to do her own thing. I could see River Run getting hit pretty hard. The anti-Tory sentiments ran very high in this time period, and they were unafraid of property damage. We saw a lot of that going on, especially with newspapers. If you were a Tory newspaper, people would come after you. I think I read somewhere one of the printers, people actually went and attacked his house, not just his print shop. Yeah, it was not pretty. On either side. I'm not saying the Tories were blameless. It was just a time period of history that I wouldn't personally want to visit. However, I can see the appeal to this other traveler. I'm just not sure why they're there. They seem to be trying to get home because that's why they stole the gem, unless that was just making sure they had that. Like if they needed to go home, I don't know. Clearly they had been trapped in this time period for a while, and they knew what they were doing with that gem. I'm just surprised Claire hasn't put the pieces together. Of all people. Not a difficult connection here, Claire. Come on. Then again, as an audience member, I tend to be a little bit more suspicious. I'm very glad that they resolved that offshoot plot with Roger, though. I was so worried that they would go down the path of him being alone with the beautiful widow over and over, and something happens. But instead, Roger figures it out with barely even a quarrel, just kind of a stern talking to. I think that everything is resolved now. This was definitely a really good episode. This is one where I'm like, I want to go back and rewatch it. Some of the recent Outlander episodes, I've been like, that was an amazing story, so well done. I don't really want to rewatch it. Whereas this one, I'm like, ooh, I need to see this right now, multiple times. So much going on. Even Jamie has realized there's the potential for an infight on the ridge. I think this was our kind of time away to set the scene with the revolution, the Sons of Liberty, and then we're going to come back to the ridge and it's just going to go on the ridge. Probably next episode.